What's up, and welcome to the Mallard Mischief Podcast, brought to you by our friends over at the Lost Hat Company. This is Season 2, Episode 3, and man, we have some exciting news.
Yeah, you just alluded to it a little bit, but for those that didn't pick up, this episode and this season is brought to you by Lost Hat Company.
The blanks you've always wanted.
Absolutely. We're both repping Lost Hat Company hats right now. Matter of fact, that may be the only kind of hat I own, even prior to this.
Yeah, I mean, they got a really good hat. They've got some popular options. The goat rope I'm wearing, the Savage you have on. Man, these are some buddies of ours. Like, we know them well. Yeah. Super excited to have them on board, supporting us with the podcast. And, man, just so proud to have them part of the team now.
Yeah, very grateful for their support. And if y'all are looking for some blanks or need to get some hats printed, check out Lost Hat Co. for sure.
Yeah, we've got some cool things in the works with those guys. There'll be more on that in the coming episodes.
Stay tuned.
But the Mallard Mischief Podcast is now brought to you by our buddies at the Lost Hat Co.
Absolutely.
And that is fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a special guest here, and we're going to be checking a lot of boxes today, a lot of firsts for us on the podcast. Chris, why don't you go ahead and introduce our buddy here, calling in all the way from Colorado. First call-in guest on the podcast. So hopefully y'all can hear him all right. But, Chris, tell him who we got.
Yeah, so this is a really good friend of mine. We have hunted together in the past. We're going to get into all this. But, man, welcome my buddy, good friend, and brother, Blake Nations, elk hunting extraordinaire. Hey, and look.
Hey, I'm proud to be here, man. I'm proud to be here.
Hey, and what did they say on the Elk Shape podcast? Just a piece, like what did he say? Just a steak of a. I mean,
said a slab of beef. I think I was calling it. Yeah. Look, I think it was a compliment.
I don't think so.
100% a compliment. Oh man, but we're super excited to have Blake. Like Ben Moss said, he's calling in for the first time. We're trying that out from his house in was it Carter, Colorado?
Parker,
Colorado.
Colorado.
So with that in mind, Blake being on the show, this will be our first show where we focus on elk.
Yeah, we've never had anybody talk. You've briefly talked about it before from behind the camera, but we've never had the perspective of somebody that's actually behind the gun or behind the bow. And I will be the first to tell you, Blake, I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to elk hunting. So I'm going to be super inquisitive because I've got all kinds of questions I'm going to hit you with, but I'm super excited to hear about your experience and your most recent hunt too.
Yeah.
Man, I can. Yeah, I can tell you a lot of things to do wrong. You know, I can teach you. I can teach you a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And then, man, just perseverance sometimes leads to a little bit of luck. But.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good start, Blake. Why don't you just start off by introducing yourself and you know, you're from Mississippi, or we met here in Mississippi, and man, just give us the bio of Blake Nations, and then we'll talk about how that took off and moved out west, and your love for elk hunting, and just how all that came to be. Just tell us about who you are.
Oh man, that's always a little bit of a loaded question, right? So I am a Mississippi native. I was born and raised in the state of Mississippi. I lived all over the state. So southwest corner, Weston, Brookhaven, Vicksburg, Yazoo City, around the Jackson area, Florence, Richland, Brandon. And then that was kind of all over the place through grade school. Finished up high school down in Weston, Mississippi, a little small town. Joined the military straight out of high school. Was in the Navy for 6 years. Enlisted, went to school in Chicago, went to school down in Pensacola, Florida. I actually got picked up to play football at the Naval Academy Prep School for just long enough for them to tell me I wasn't good enough to be on the actual Navy football team.
So they didn't quite think that you were a slab of meat.
Not back then, man. Yeah, I think at 20 to 21 years old, I was probably about $190, $195, 6'3". So much closer to a string bean than a slab of beef. And then
easy now, easy. Hold up.
victim weight for sure. So I did 3 deployments. And then separated, used the GI Bill to accomplish a lifelong dream. I actually attended the flagship academic institution of the state of Mississippi, University of Mississippi.
Here we go.
Ole Miss.
Hotty toddy, baby.
Hold up. Time out. We forgot something.
To mention that Ole Miss won by 60 points this past Saturday.
No, we have a show sipper.
We did forget to introduce the show sipper. Matter of fact, and here's in my defense, I have never even heard of today's show sipper, but I'm really excited to try it. I'm going to let you introduce it, Blake, because this was your idea.
There's a really cool tie here. It actually relates to Ole Miss. It relates to Mississippi State as well. So Chris will be happy there. Guys, when I went to Ole Miss, there was a couple there dating that was friends with a couple of my buddies. And you've maybe heard of the guy who ended up marrying an Ole Miss graduate. His name's Michael Hardy. So Michael Hardy is affiliated with Outlaw Beer.
Really?
But Outlaw Beer is brewed here in La Junta, Colorado. So I figured if we're gonna have a show sipper, we might as well do something that ties
Mississippi straight back to Colorado.
I'm telling you, this is amazing.
That's it, brother.
How about that?
And there's a big buck deer on the front. So I mean, it's
a nice rack.
It's a powder blue can. It's just got everything you're looking for.
It checks a lot of boxes too.
Oh, this is insane.
Well,
this
guys,
is already going downhill from the get-go.
If you popped your top, but
cheers, brother. Hey, look, it's funny. You can't see this now, but I didn't have any way to prop up the phone for so we actually have an Outlaw Light can front and center on the YouTube feed that everybody will be able to see with these guys.
Oh, I like it, brother.
Hold up.
Couple green heads, baby.
Always got to keep them top of mind.
I like it.
All right, sorry about that, but we had forgotten.
No, you're good, man.
But so you were talking about
cheers again.
Yeah, cheers. This is easily the most thoughtful and kind of cool, symbolic show sipper we've had. So I'm looking forward to it.
And I've never had it.
I hadn't either.
So,
it's a dang solid light beer. But yeah, Chris, to your point, man. So I graduated from the University of Mississippi. It's the oldest, most prestigious academic institution in the state of Mississippi. And I have a degree from there in civil engineering. I started straight out of college with a company. It's actually where I met Chris. I was doing some broadband work.
They do engineering at Ole Miss?
They invented engineering.
I thought you went there to be a nurse. I thought that was a nursing
We are the foundational. We are the foundational engineering school.
You can't spell nurse.
I certainly can't spell engineer.
No. And so I started my career straight out of the University of Mississippi working with a broadband and telecommunications company. That's actually where I met Chris.
That's right.
So our paths crossed there. I quickly realized I was dealing with a good man, a man of integrity, someone I wanted to be affiliated with and friends with, and we've maintained a relationship.
And a stone cold killer. You left that out.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
That was omitted consciously.
So in 2021, the company that I was working with began to expand west. I had done a turkey hunt out here the year before, experienced the Rocky Mountains for the first time. I was actually driving across Oklahoma on the way back with one of my really good buddies. His name's Johnny Lynn. And I told him there, I said, man, I'm going to move to Colorado at some point. Good Lord's going to find a way to get me there. I'm going to pray on it. We're going to make it happen. And it just so happened that 2 projects started out here. It allowed me the opportunity to move out here. I promoted with the company that I was with at the time, opened a few doors for me. And I've been here ever since. I met the woman of my dreams out here. I'm married to a phenomenal woman. She's a Colorado native. So we won't hold that against her too much. I do most of the cooking. And then, man, just immediately realized the draw of the mountains, right? And to your point earlier, man, Elker, there's something different, So after military service, I was classified as a disabled veteran. I have a pretty significant back injury. And I hunt in a state primarily that offers realistically in-state resident pricing for disabled veterans. So I'm not going to name the state because that's none of y'all's business. But I've hunted there for a few years now. I've been in elk quite a bit there. Chris has gone out there with me before and experienced a little bit of those mountains. And man, it really just it took over my life, really. I've always been an outdoorsman. I've always been a hunter. I still, whitetail in the Midwest and in the Deep South still hold a special place in my heart. January, when nothing else is going on, I do like to go smack some greenheads across the face. And I love killing a turkey. I hunt turkeys, and I've killed turkeys in 24, 25 states. So I'm not by any means an exclusive to one animal hunter, but there is nothing that I've found in my life that bleeds into other aspects of my life the way that elk hunting does.
Yeah,
it truly creates
special.
an obsession.
It's pretty special.
Man, that's awesome.
It is.
So,
it
man,
is.
that's awesome. Just, I mean, I've known you for several years now, and like you said, when we met, we kind of hit it off instantly and started hanging out, and then my boy moved to Colorado. And I'm like, dang, man, like you get to working with somebody that you enjoy working with, and then they move. You're like, man, this is terrible. But it has worked out actually better because, we know each other better now than we did then, just
That's
because
right.
you start spending time in the backcountry with somebody. Like, you really get to know strengths and weaknesses and where you can lean on them and where they need to lean on you. And
so Blake, you may have said this already, but did you elk hunt for the first time prior to moving to Colorado, or you found elk hunting after getting out there?
I was actually in a tree stand in Mississippi, and I drew a tag. I pulled a tag for the state that I was talking about, and I had not moved out here yet. Most of your elk tags come out late winter, early spring, and I had not even started traveling to Colorado for work yet. So I got that tag, I'll just say late winter, early spring, so I don't give away any more details. And in June, I started the transition to Colorado. I accepted that promotable opportunity to come be a regional director out here. So I had an apartment paid for by the company that I was with. I actually moved into that apartment in September. And the inaugural elk hunt, that first elk hunt, I had scheduled with that buddy Johnny I mentioned earlier. And he decided to go off to California and get engaged to the girl he'd been seeing for a while, and he kind of bailed on that hunt. And I wasn't going to go either. I was kind of I realized I'd probably be in over my head, and then the reality set in that if you're from the South or the West or the East or wherever you're from in this country, and you're an outdoorsman and you dream about hunting the mountains, elk is almost always the first animal that comes to mind. And getting a tag's not easy, right? In any of these states, especially now, most of the states that even had kind of tough OTC tags, those have even gone away. So I was fortunate enough that social media was a thing in a way. I saw people start killing these big bulls early September, and I decided, you know what? I've dreamed of this my whole life. I have a tag in my pocket. Even if I don't go kill, I need to go find out what it's really all about. And set that expectation that, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I will never get better at it if I don't go try.
That's right.
And so I soloed it. I soloed it for about 5 days.
What year was
went
that?
in way over my head. 2020.
Okay.
2020. September of 2020. I went in way over my head. I went in way too deep. I did find bugling bulls right after I hiked past a wall tent camp that people had horsebacked into. And that's deflating when you realize you've been hiking for 4 hours and they're probably drinking beer and eating steaks in this big wall tent. So I blew that area out. I busted 2 bulls out of there with thermals. And that's a whole new lesson. You'll have to learn when you get out here to hunt them. But I ended up packing out the next day defeated. And I kind of picked up a tip from some podcasts, actually, Dan Staten, Elk Shape, really listening to his stuff back then.
His podcast is phenomenal. If you want,
it's great.
If you want elk tips or I mean, he shares so much information. It's
sometimes too much.
Yeah. right. But I mean, he's great podcast. Like that's
it is. It's a great podcast.
We have aspirations to get to that level.
He's I was able to go meet him a few weeks ago and do a podcast with him. He's a great man too. A really good hunter, somebody I look up to in this space. But
follower
I remember
Jesus
him saying, Yes, sir. Yeah. Absolute Christian man. So I remember hearing in the podcast, just, man, go cover ground and bugle at night. So that's what I did for 2 nights. I just didn't sleep. I drove Forest Service roads. I bugled off the side of the road, and I ended up finding some elk that way. And I had an encounter my first year elk hunting at about 55 yards with a really solid 6x6, probably a 270, 280 6x6. But I just wasn't trained for it. I wasn't ready. By day 4 or 5, I was physically destroyed, and then it bleeds over into your mental and your emotional. And I threw the towel in and went home early. And you immediately regretted it.
That ain't my boy now.
No. When I met my wife, we had our very first date. We had dinner, and we were talking about canon events in your life. Things that have changed your life. Just trying to get to know what kind of person I was sitting across from. And I told her, one of the biggest canon events in my life was quitting on that. And she was like, "That's something that changed your life?" And I was like, "Yeah, I remember leaving. I was driving across Wyoming, grown man, tears in my eyes. And I realized, a lot of people say they want stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You want to kill a bull. You want to go on this elk hunt. You want to be successful. You want a good job until the grind hits you. And most people don't really want it. Yeah. They just think they do."
I'll say this. I thought that I was in good shape until the first time I went elk hunting with Blake.
God, I can only imagine.
And he's like you think a mountain goat can cover some ground? This dude he's a goat. I'm telling you, an animal out there. I'm begging for him to can we please? I need 5 minutes. All I need. Just give me 5 minutes.
I get it.
My legs are on fire.
I'll brag on you too. What a cool first date conversation. Life events that have changed the course of your life. That's super cool. But all right, anyway, you're sitting there, you're having conversation with your, one day to be wife.
And I had to let her know. I said, what that exposed to me was who's the man you really want to be. Right. And I had that reflective drive on the way home after that event where, people know me as a hunter. People know me as a Christian. People know me as a good friend. And if you're going to be known for something, you better really be about it. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the realization I had on the drive home is, if people know me as a good friend, I'm going to be a damn good friend. And if people know me as a Christian, then they're going to know I love God. And if people know me as a hunter, then we're going to pack big bulls off the mountain. Right. And that was kind of the wake up is you asked me at the beginning of the show to introduce myself and who am I? And the reality is you will have an image of yourself, and it matters. You should have an image of yourself. But it should in some ways reflect or mirror to what people see you as well. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, somewhere you're lying to yourself. So, sometimes whenever I'm trying to figure out who I really am, I have to go to those people like Chris, the people like my wife, the people like my friend Johnny, and really get a reality check, a little feedback on where am I on this compass? Am I doing the things I say that I'm about? And if you are, then good. You're working to be the man you want to be. And if you're not, then that's a good wake up call to get in the gym or get in the Bible or get to prayer with your wife and get back to being the man you want to be. So that's what that event kind of exposed to me was saying you are something or saying you want something is not the same as actually doing it and wanting it.
Yep. That's right.
That's strong, dude. Yeah. And what a blessing too to have people in your life that are going to shoot you straight when you ask that type of question. Because that's as tough as that kind of stuff is to hear, a lot of times that's tough to tell somebody too. So
that's what you need,
man. That's
what
awesome.
You need.
That's awesome.
So, what would you say, looking back on that first trip, what was the biggest challenge that you faced that ultimately led to you giving up? What was it the physical? Was it mental? Or what was the thing that really broke the camel's back, that put you over the edge?
Yeah. In most things in life, it ends up being a compilation of things, right? So I would say the physicality of it was no joke. And that bleeds over into everything else, but it's also learning how to talk to yourself. It's learning how to be your own big motivator, because everybody that's listening to this that is an outdoorsman has sat in a tree stand in November or December and not seen the buck, or they've gone to the blind and the birds aren't there, or they've hiked the ridges looking for the turkey and he just ain't gobbling today. And you just think, man, today's not the day. Or, you think I've hunted 30 days for every one turkey I've killed, or I've hunted 3 seasons to kill one 140. And you start building those bad expectations. So the reality of general unit elk hunting is that 90-ish% of people, depending on the state and the general unit, you're somewhere between 6 or 7% success rates and 10 or 12% success rates, which means on average, 9 out of 10 guys are going home with a tag and some chicken broth, and they're going to try to make a tag soup that tastes worth the dang.
And that tag soup ain't no good.
I ain't never had a good one. And you can do a lot with Tony Cheshery's, but you can't make that plastic tag taste good.
And I know your wife can't do much with it.
Oh, no, sir. Burn the hell out of it. That's about it. So, man, so I would say number one, it's that self-doubt. Yeah. I haven't earned it. I don't deserve it. I'm not part of that 10%. I don't know this animal. Number two, I would say if you're a whitetail guy, throw almost everything you know out the window. Mm-hmm. The only thing that is comparable is their nose. And an elk is still 5X. Leave your scent blocker at home. Ain't no ozonics running around on the mountain with you, right? You got to just play the wind. And learning the wind was a massive hurdle.
Yep.
And then I would say, and fortunately for me, my personality, that extroverted go-get-it personality ended up bleeding over into my success. But early on, as a whitetail guy, you want to sit. All right, I'm going to get to a good spot, and I'm going to sit there. Well, elk move 15 miles a day, so good luck being just where he wants to be. That's number one. And then number two, it's, I would get close to those bulls, and then I would get scared. I don't want to blow this opportunity. And you don't accomplish great things in life by standing on the sidelines. So right. I had to learn, you just got to jump in and, swing the bat. And if you strike out, that's okay. Chris will tell you, I said this probably 400 times in a 4-day hunt. Next ridge, man.
Next ridge.
Chris would ask me. He'd say, dude, where are the bulls at? I say, next ridge. And it didn't matter how many more you went over. There's bulls on that next ridge. So
hey,
that was the big thing.
I hung in there with you.
You did.
You
did. So
I realized.
I would say that's my lesson I had to learn. That's my lesson I had to learn is when you get in close, you got to be there to kill them.
Well, dude,
I love being around them.
I guarantee a lot of the folks listening here, especially those that are in Mississippi, can relate exactly to what you're talking about early in their turkey careers. You get within 190, 80 yards of that turkey, and if you don't have the experience behind you of being there, you get paralyzed with, if I move my toe the wrong way, he's going to see me and I'm going to blow this whole thing. So even never being on a mountainside with an elk, I know exactly the feeling you're talking about. That's a tough one.
Yep.
Yeah. The challenge for me with that first hunt was, one, like, I thought that I was training for that hunt, and then it's just like so much different when you get out there on the mountain and you've got a backpack on with 40, 50, 60 pounds of because we were camping in the backcountry and really planned for a 5-day trip. So we had food, tent, sleeping bag, like all the gear,
right?
Plus, Blake's got all his archery equipment. I'm carrying tons of camera stuff, batteries, like
that's
solar chargers.
That's
like I even took my computer, which was
stupid.
I don't know what I would do with a computer in the backcountry.
What's the Wi-Fi like?
What's the Wi-Fi password out there?
I can only imagine.
Like you were talking about, though, I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, the first trip that we went on, you drew that tag. We were talking, and I had been running a camera for probably not even a year, I don't think. And and it was like, man, I'm coming. And obviously Blake's like, well, I can't pay you. I'm like, no, don't worry about that. Like, I'll cover all the expenses. Like, I just wanted the experience. I wanted to add. I wanted that in my portfolio. I wanted to be able to say that I've filmed an elk hunt,
right?
And I've been in the backcountry. But but one thing that does for you is you get out there the first time, and like you said, you learn what not to do. I may not know exactly what to do, but I do know some things that I won't do next time.
Right. No doubt.
Those lessons become almost just as valuable.
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah,
they do.
They're equally as valuable. Man, it's certainly a bucket list thing of mine. Actually, not this past weekend, but the weekend prior was the first time I've ever been to Colorado. We went with my in-laws, and man, it is gorgeous up there, but it is a lot different than it is here.
It is.
Hey, look, before we get into your most recent hunt, and we're going to get into that pretty deep, man, what does elk hunting mean to you? Like, let's just say like 365 days a year. Like, I know what you do to prepare. You're an animal. And it's not fair to us mortal men. But
well, and you've already made the comment too that above all else, elk flows into your life more than anything does. So I'd love to hear that too.
So what does that look like for you? You've got like September and October where we're out chasing elk, but then you've got 10 other months where you're preparing for that chase. So just shine a little light on that, what that means to for how that has changed your life, just chasing elk.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. So there's a lot of reality to that. And the truth is that even as a resident in an elk state, getting tags can still be difficult. Getting good tags is it's a full on year long strategy. So a lot of it starts right there. I play the game in like 10 or 11 states every year. So we won't talk about how much that costs me a year because my wife doesn't need to know.
Is she in the room?
No. She's actually at work so we can pay for these elk tags.
Yes.
The reality is that if you want to be in this game and you want to be consistently on good tags, that's number one. So shout out to, companies like Go Hunt because they make that process easy where you can build a draw strategy for multiple states year in and year out and start planning, putting these states on rotation so that you have the capacity to be on good hunts. Because if you want to get better at elk hunting, you need to be an elk.
That's right.
Right. So that's number one. And that applies to everything. If you have never hail called at a mallard and seen him break his neck to look down at you, then you don't know what you're doing right or you're doing wrong. So that's number one. You got to learn. And to learn, you need to be in the field. You need to learn the things you don't want to do and the things you do want to do. So you got to have tags or you got to have buddies with tags. The reality is that if you're an archery hunter for elk, you probably have the month of September. And if you're really fortunate and you draw something crazy and you have a good archery tag and then you want to put in for other stuff where you're just Hail Marying it for another month, whether it's an October or November rifle hunt, which is kind of the situation I'm in this year, then maybe you get 2 months, which really ends up being with a career and family and life. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 weeks to go out and pursue this animal. And it all goes back to, I want to be part of that 8 to 10% every single year. So I want to leave as little chance out of it as possible. There's so much favor and God's blessing that goes into being healthy, that goes into having a job that allows me to financially afford these tags, that goes into having a wife that understands that I have to do this to be me. So that's all of that comes into it. And then from the day I don't have a tag in my pocket anymore, whether it's September 31st because the season went out or I didn't get something that year, everything is about, I need a tag. I got to get back to having an opportunity to hunt. And then I'm going to train year round. So I believe if elk season popped up in April or in June or in September, I'm going to be ready to go on a hunt. So I stay ready for the hunt. Now, there are times a year where maybe I build up to it a little bit more or I take out of it a little bit more, but that doesn't just apply to my fitness. It applies to my career expectations. I have a meeting with my boss tomorrow just to have a come to Jesus meeting and say, hey, boss lady, I love working here. I love this company. Late September, I suck. And then late October, I'm going to suck again. I'm going to be gone for these 10 days. and I'm going to make it up to you the other 50 weeks of the year. So that bleeds over into so many parts of your life where I have to get my honeydews done. I have to get things done with my career. I have to do the things on my cattle ranch that I have. I have to do these things so that I can turn my focus to elk hunting. And then another part of it is, man, I've built a community of people. I have buddies that are more like brothers to me where we hold each other accountable all year. We train together, we ruck together, we shoot together, we learn together. They go out and make mistakes. I go out and make mistakes, and we sit down and talk about it so that we can be part of that 8 to 10%. It truly has, in every way, changed my life for the better. It made me a better man to my wife as a husband, made me a better man to my work, right? Because now I know that the sacrifices I'm going to have to make to go do this are significant. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the things in my life to make those things fair to the other people in my life. Because Chris will tell you, you get on that mountain and your phone don't work.
No,
there is no Wi-Fi. This is prior to Starlink, and I ain't got Starlink money. So, you're going to disappear for those 8 or 10 days, and you need people to know that you took care of the stuff you needed to take care of. So I train for it year round. I plan for it year round. I put in for tags year round. I'm doing research on units year round. I watch drought monitors, rainfall, snowfall in probably 7 different states 10 months out of the year, because I want to know if I draw a tag in Wyoming, are the bulls going to be high because we've had a wet June or July, or is it in a drought and they're going to have to push down at night to feed and water is going to be important? Like I can tell you right now that northern New Mexico is in a 25-year drought. I don't even have a New Mexico tag, but I need to know for my draw strategy next year, right? And it truly has encompassed my life, and for the better. But I'm obsessed with it, man. Yeah. I'm obsessed with the work. I think that that's the thing I love about it the most. If you hunt public land, Mississippi, Arkansas for ducks, you got to drag decoys, you got to foot race guys. There's a lot of 4 a.m., 3 a.m. mornings to go be successful, and I've done it, and I enjoy it. But there is nothing that is the same physically as getting a bull elk out of the backcountry by yourself or with one buddy. You don't get lucky into getting that bull off the mountain. you have to grind.
Yeah.
And I love that, because if you're successful, there's a badge that comes with it. And it's Cameron Haynes has this thing that I love, and it's a goal of mine in life with not just elk hunting, but one of his statements is that he's undeniable. You can dislike him. You can say that he's gotten lucky. You can say that he's had these things fall in his lap. But the reality is the man kills bull elk every single year in multiple states. And only 8% of people do that.
Yeah.
So that's my goal in everything, man. In my career, in my marriage, in elk hunting, is I want to be part of that group of people that nobody can tell you it's just luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love hearing it must be nice.
No, man, I agree with you 100%, because while I have not packed out a bull elk yet. We're gonna change that in about 30 days.
Will.
Yeah, and
we will. Yeah.
But man, there's no part of that process that's not earned 100%. I mean, when you pack into the backcountry, you're unless you kill, your pack is the heaviest going in than it will be the rest of the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, you're earning it from the get-go. You're going.
That's right.
In our instance, we're going 4-5+ miles just to set up camp. And then we branch off from there. Whatever after we climb to the top of a peak and glass. And man, that first year we went out there, we had a beautiful campsite. I mean, it really was spectacular. There's a stream running through there. You had unlimited amounts of water. However, at 4 a.m., we woke up and we climbed, 1,500 feet every single morning?
Yeah, that's brutal.
1,800. 1,800. And the first hill out of camp is scree and rock. And it's 250 or 300 feet where your coffee hadn't hit yet, your espresso beans covered in dark chocolate, whatever your vice is.
We didn't have time for coffee. We were rolling out of the bed, and Blake
I know
has
good and well you made time for coffee.
No, we didn't. No, not then.
At the top.
At the top.
Oh.
Yeah, at the top, we had plenty of time for coffee. But we would literally roll out of the bed. Blake had a gallon-sized Ziploc bag full of chocolate-covered espresso beans. We would roll out of.
I knew that was a specific thing to throw in.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
Like,
That's
I've
what
never
it
heard
was.
somebody doing that.
That's like the secret sauce.
Is it?
Oh yeah. So we would roll out of the tent, get up, like get boots on, clothes. We're like throw our pack on. He walks up, like gives you a handful of espresso beans. You pound those like an addict. You're like sucking those down, and then 1,800 feet up the mountain we go. It's probably an hour hike, or at least.
No, 2.5, 2.
Yeah,
2-ish.
Yeah, I mean every single morning.
Dude, that's brutal.
It was brutal.
Have you ever heard, Blake, of the Manitou Incline in Colorado Springs?
Yeah.
My wife and I did that when we were there 2 weeks ago. That's 2,000 feet of elevation.
Yep.
And it kicked my butt. I can't imagine doing that every day for 5 days. My legs were noodles for 3 days after that.
Yep.
So that's wild.
I have a hunting buddy now. His name's Paul. He actually flew out to Idaho, and I won't get too far into what happened this past weekend, but he dropped everything, flew out to Idaho to help me on my last pack out this past weekend. And 2 years ago, when he and I came to the agreement that he was going to elk hunt with me, he had just done the Manitou Incline. He had been out here for my wedding and had done the incline with his wife. And we were talking about that, and I said, Paul, that is 90 to 95% of a reference to what I do every single morning at 4 a.m. leaving camp.
Every morning.
Dude, that is brutal.
It was tough.
And you're doing it. There are no stairs. Now, the stairs make it easier and harder, right?
Right.
But there are no stairs. There's no stairs. You're walking through sage and deadfall and rocks. And you're doing it with your hunt pack on. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have 25 to 30 pounds for your day pack on your back. But man, the Manitou is a great litmus test for where are you at, right? Because if you can throw 30 pounds on your back and you can do that.
I finished it, but man, it kicked my butt.
That's it.
With talking about, this past week, you want to talk about why don't you just take us through the story and man, like I want to hear. I want to hear the story, but let's kind of we talked about how you got into elk hunting. We talked about kind of you and I going out there. Man, you've put a lot of work into hunting these bulls, and like let's start with that, and then take that into what you did.
Absolutely.
For the opening day / opening weekend of elk.
Yeah, so we started the podcast, right? And I kind of mentioned, I don't know if I'm the guy to tell you how to kill elk. I can tell you a ton of ways to mess up killing elk. And I have years of history with that now. So for my very first year, we went over very briefly, but that was most of it. I wasn't in shape enough. I wasn't trained enough. I didn't understand elk biology enough. And I messed it up twice inside 100 yards. Year 2, I realized how special it was. And I had to learn that year how important your hunting buddy is. You either need to go by yourself or you need to go with somebody who's yoked next to you. And I want to be very clear. My best friend, Johnny's a great man. He hasn't been back elk hunting since. So
he did not make the cut.
So there are 1,000 reasons to quit when you're out there. And the reality is that you don't need another one. And negative attitudes or tiredness or defeatedness is contagious. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn that the second year. I also had to learn that target panic is very, very real. And big bull elk at 15 and 20 yards will rock you. So I have a really bad tendency to get incredibly excited about hunting. And it is probably a big part of the reason I'm so addicted to hunting as well. But I do get archery target panic very bad. I do not get it with a rifle. which is a blessing, but it's also why I put rifle hunting down when I was like 14, because I realized I just didn't get juiced up behind a scope, and I did behind a bow. So my second year of archery elk hunting, I missed 3 shots at 2 different bull elk on opening day inside 40 yards. On day 2, I blew an opportunity on a bull, no shot. Day 3, Johnny stayed in the tent and slept in. I got to within 80 yards of a bull, and my rangefinder battery was dead. So shout out to everybody. Change your rangefinder battery right before your hunt starts. I went back solo the second weekend of the season, shot under a 280 6x6 that I cow called into about 25 yards. I made a stalk on another bull about 4 hours later and did not have my bow tuned as well as I thought I did. And I made a honestly great shot on a bull elk where my arrow did not hit where my pin was. And I'm very fortunate. I do not believe that it significantly injured that bull. But that was heartbreaking to finally kind of put it together, and the arrow just didn't go where it needed to. The last week of the season, Johnny came back up with me. I called in a bull to about 40 yards with no shot. I learned a lot more about thermals there when 9 cows blew out of the country. I also learned that elk are in much better shape than us because we watched those elk leave the county. I called a bull in for Johnny from probably 900 yards away that absolutely Jurassic Park screamed all the way in. And he froze behind the bow and just never shot. So I found out that's also an option. I don't have that problem, but it exists. And we went home early, just defeated. The next year I went with Chris joined me opening weekend, and we had a great time. We just never got into elk. We did see some small bulls, a couple cows.
That was tough hunting because it was like they just weren't ready. Like they
weren't ready.
No bugles, and it was essentially like chasing a turkey that's not gobbling.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
We death marched for 5 straight days.
Next ridge.
Blake was like, "So you think you want to film elk hunting, huh?
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, come get some of this."
Yeah, jeez.
The text messages the following weekend confirmed to Chris that he would never attend opening weekend again because I got into 2 days of the best elk hunting of my life. So September 10th and 11th, my uncle came back with me. We called 7 bulls in 2 days. I blew 2 shot opportunities where I never got an arrow off. I missed a bull at 40 yards. I went back to that same meadow the next day, missed a bigger bull at probably 25 to 30 yards. I truly have no idea, completely blacked out. Called a bull in to 30 to 40 yards. My uncle stepped on a stick and blew the bull out in the wide open. And then the last day of the season, I went back by myself for the 4 or 5 day season, and I called a absolute monster herd bull into 3 yards. He actually legitimately peed on my boot, bugled in my face at 3 yards, and then blew out of there. And no shot opportunity at him. So that was 2 seasons ago. Last year was my buddy Paul's first year hunting with me. And we went during a time of September that's really just not that great. Opening weekend is generally really hot and quiet. The second weekend of the season, the bulls do not have cows yet, but there's starting to be some scent in the air. They're still not there, but they can tell those menstrual cycles are starting. And they just Jurassic Park. They have to establish who is who, but they don't have cows yet, and no cows are ready. So you can paint these breeding sequences with calling where you sound like a cow party. You try to defend those cows with your bugles, and it will elicit bulls to believe that somehow another bull has found those first cows that are hot. Then by the 12th to 18th, the mature bulls come into play. They're no longer solo. They're no longer hiding in the wind. They go up, they establish that they're the herd bull, but they want to take their harem and they want to hide them. They don't want the competition yet because the breeding hasn't really started yet. And then by about the 23rd to 25th, and excuse my language, but all hell breaks loose. that is when the satellites are going crazy, the estrus is in the air, and the bull elk are full tilt. Peak breeding in Colorado, Montana, Wyoming happens really around September 29th to October 3rd, according to biology. So that's really, you either want to be right there in front of it, 23rd, 26th, or if you're in a state that allows it, you really want to be kind of on the backside of it when some breeding has taken place and the cows are starting to actually fall out of estrus, because then the urgency, then it's 1:30 in the morning at the bar, and you're still sitting there with nothing on your arm. So you really want to play those two. September 4th is 7 p.m. at the bar. Nobody's ready to go home yet.
Nobody's even there yet.
That's it. And that's the reality. So, man, that's my backstory, right? I messed it up every way you can. I got winded. I blew elk out. I stood too still. I thought they could see like whitetail or like a turkey. And man, they hear, but they don't run from noise.
Yeah.
I actually bugled in a bull last year after slipping and falling literally down the mountain, and just ripped a bugle as I was sliding down the rocks. And all I can assume is to that bull, I sounded like a bull charging in, because he blew out of the trees, came up to fight, gave me a perfect shot, and I blew it. But you try to do that with a whitetail or a turkey, I don't care how good your yelping is, he's gone. Yeah. They run from everything, right? A white-tailed deer or an eastern turkey's default is just run. If it ain't perfectly right, I'm going to just get out of here. Elk will turn and look at a threat before they establish whether or not it is a threat. And in many cases, if you bust an elk, he's going to run 25 yards. And if you're not chasing him, he doesn't want to burn the energy to keep running. He's going to turn back and look. And if you're not chasing him, he'll just turn and trot away gently, get over the ridge, and then go to a fast walk to get out of the county. So if you're a whitetail guy, especially if you're a turkey guy, because you hear this a lot, you hear a lot of guys say turkey hunting and elk hunting is just big game turkey hunting. And I want to throw that out the window right now. The only similarity is the diaphragm call. If you can run a mouth yelper, you can call elk, because there's a very similar, the yelp is the same in a yelp versus a cow call. A lot of those things are really similar. But to be incredibly effective at killing bull elk with calling, you really want to portray violence. You want to bugle in his face. You want to challenge him, because these are scent animals. And they're going to wind check cows to know if they're in estrus. There is no estrus bleat in the elk community. There's guys that will try to sell that to you. The biology doesn't support it. You cow call this bull in, there's a 90% chance he's going to come in downwind. He's going to establish if there's a bull with her, because if there is, it might be life or death. He's going to establish if she's in heat. And if she's not, he might just continue on his way. If you paint the picture that a bull has a cow, you paint the picture that that bull is willing to fight and die for that cow, there's only one reason in nature where that bull's willing to do that. There is no love story. This isn't Bambi. He wants her for those 6 hours, right? And if you can create that image that it's that 6 hours, the other bull's willing to die for her too. So you can control the situation by aggressively calling, aggressively bugling at these bull elk, and making them think that you're defending a cow that's worth defending.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's how I hunt elk in general. That is not what happened this weekend though, because I was there at 7:30 when they're still eating appetizers, waiting on the girls to show up. So, I say all that to say those experiences are what made this success possible.
Yeah.
Those failures are what made this success possible. I've had a lot of people congratulate me, and I really appreciate it, because this bull means a ton to me.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's kind of been said over and over again that kind of makes me laugh, and Chris, I appreciate you letting me paint this picture, is, man, you got that done quick. Man, that was fast. Man, that you made that look easy. Man, I failed a lot for 5 years to kill this bull.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take that away from other people that are out there failing.
Yeah. Right?
The reality is this is hard, and you're probably going to mess it up. And if you don't, then good. But know in the future you're probably going to mess it up. Mm-hmm. I remember missing my first turkey with a shotgun, and for years I had trash talked anybody who ever misses a turkey with a shotgun. How you miss a bird with a shotgun? It's standing still. You got a shotgun, just shoot it. And then you miss one, and you go, man, that wasn't that hard to do. I shot right under his feet. right? And
oh man, that'll make your stomach hurt.
Won't it though, brother? And you don't want to take away from people's failures, because the reality is you can lose, you can mess up. You only fail when you quit. And if you never quit and you don't die, then you still got a chance to go out and make it happen.
That's right.
And that's what I want people to know about this bull and this opportunity is where this bull was. And I talked about this in the podcast with Dan Staten, so I'd love to bring it full circle and here with you guys. There's a location in the back bowl of this mountain that I call the Herd Bull Valley. And it is, if you ski, you'll understand this, it is a gigantic back bowl. And in the middle of that back bowl, there is a brook, a stream, a creek is what we call it back home. But they try to call it a crick out here. I hadn't figured that out at all. There ain't an I in that word nowhere. But over hundreds of years, this drainage, this alder drainage, has carved a massive cut into the bottom of this back bowl. And to get from one side to the other, there are a couple of chutes from other alder creeks that run down into it, or you get to pretty much play mountain goat and rock climb your way out of it on the other side to go get where most of the elk like to be.
That's what you would do.
And
yeah.
That's not 2 or 3 years ago. I want to put some fear into you here. Just 2 or 3 years ago, that mountain scared me.
Yeah.
It was bigger, steeper, meaner than anything I had really consistently climbed. And I watched a herd bull 3 days in a row push cows out of the timber, bugling his head off in late September, and I never went after him because it was just too daunting. It was too big. And me and Dan talked about that in the podcast and how those are the moments that change your elk hunting experience, where you go, man, it's you wait too many months, you wait too long, you pray too hard for these tags to sit on the sidelines and watch that bull walk off. So the reality of successfully killing my first bull elk with a bow in a place where I used to be afraid to go try to even pursue a bull elk, man, just brings the whole 365 back around to full circle for me.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's to have it in audio with him and then to have been able to turn it around and make it a reality is it's a testament to the blessing of my health and the body that I've been able to build. But it's also a testament to, like we talked about, this stuff just bleeds into every part of my life. So last weekend was opening weekend in a couple of states. That's all you need to know. I made a drive up. I woke up at 2 a.m. on Saturday. I worked a full day on Friday, worked a full week. And I woke up at about 1:30 or 2 a.m. and I put the last couple items in my vehicle, and I made the multi-hour drive to the state that I went to. I parked a little after lunch, and I did something that I never really do. I pre-bought a half cooler's worth of ice. And I even made a joke with my uncle. I said, man, I'm telling you, something feels different about this season. And a lot of it is the condition that I'm in. Physically, I'm at a level I've never been at. I mean, go out, buy you a 94 Cummins. I'm a Chevy guy, but it'll make more sense for the reference. Throw it in 4 low, kick that bad boy into first gear, and just let off the clutch. It's going to go. And that's my speed in the mountains. You don't need to get there fast. You need to just be able to go. And I packed out my pack, left the vehicle, and it took me about 3.5 hours to slow hunt glass my way to this big back bowl where I really anticipated this weekend, and I planned with my buddy Paul, I'm just going to go up in glass. I'm going to break out the phone scope. I'm going to break out the Athlon optics. I'm going to get on a big vantage point, and I'm going to do the homework for us. I'm also going to be the car in the parking lot, right? And when I say parking lot, I use that word loosely. It's a pull-off so that people can pass you on the 2-track. And I hiked into this drainage, and I wasn't going to camp in herd bull. I was going to camp on the other side of what we call graveyard timber. There's a bunch of dead cattle, old cattle in there, so we've always called it graveyard timber. And I was going to camp on that other side, but hiking in, Idaho's in a really bad drought. Damn it, I said it. Oh, it doesn't matter if you get tagged.
Hey,
cut it out.
Idaho's big.
Yeah, Idaho's big. So they're in a really bad drought. And the reality is they changed their whole tag system this year. So if you can get a tag, good luck to you. But they were in a really bad drought, and hiking in, there was no water in any of the streams that I normally camp on. And I thought, I'm going to have to get up high and find some water. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to hike into this drainage because I know this drainage has multiple alder brooks that start seeping out of the ground at these locations. So a lot of times when the water levels are low, the seep will start, and then it just soaks into the ground as it goes down the mountain if there's not enough flow rate. So you'll have water at the source, but there won't be any, sometimes even 100 or 200 yards down. And I'm hiking in, and I'm like, I just got to establish water, and then I'll figure out my camp. And I look up, and I'm looking at about 30 cattle or 30 head of cow elk and a raghorn bull, a little probably 4-year-old, 5-year-old bull. And I thought, okay, it's 5:15 and they're already on their feet. That's a good sign. And I had bad wind because I wasn't planning on being an elk. So I thought I need to get uphill as fast as I can. I need to let my thermals get around these elk. In the hotter parts of the day, heat rises. So your thermals pull up the mountain. And then as the sun begins to set, those hillsides cool, the air temperature on those hillsides cool, and the thermals begin to fall. So you have to strategize your movements based on that. So I'm pushing side hill as fast as I can without getting seen by these elk. And I'm not sure if they get out of dodge off of scent or if they were just already headed a certain direction. But I lose them as I'm moving through the trees. I never pick them back up. Well, while I'm stalking in at what I think is these elk, ended up being the ghost of their past, I did hear a bugle. And I heard a bugle back over what we call herd bull. And it's this just, man, it's mountain goat country. It just is. I mean, that's just the reality of it is that it is, if you ski, it is a black slope. If you hike, it is worse than you want to hike. If you are from Mississippi, go climb the levee at Enid Lake. It still ain't as all right. This is nasty vertical, man. And it feeds over into this deep, dark timber cut. And that's where those elk get pushed to when pressure starts to come in. And this is a general unit. This is not anything special when it comes to a draw for archery. Residents can just buy a tag here. It is an OTC unit for every resident of that state. So this is a general hunt where there are people hunting from the road. They're pushing these elk up, and these elk are getting back into these steep, deep places because other people don't want to go there. And I heard the bugle, and I thought, man, that's a good sign. I'm hearing bugles opening weekend. That's rare, So I go to set up my camp. I drop down. I set up my tent, and I hear another bugle. And this one sounds the same distance away, and I figure I just need to get eyes on this bull if I can. So I break out the Athlon 8s. I start glassing. It's really smoky. And I see movement way off, 600-800 yards off on this hillside. And I'm thinking, man, that's got to be an elk. And I kind of get the binos focused. I throw the trekking pole under the binos. I get nice and steady. And it's a couple cows. I'm like, well, man, did I blow those elk over to there? And I finally get eyes on the whole group, and it's 5 to 7 cows. And then standing on the top of the mountain, skylined and silhouetted, Chris, and I'll send you these pictures later, but it's a bull we're calling Sevens, and he's a giant. He's the biggest bull elk I've ever seen in my life. He's a mainframe 7 on his right side, mainframe 6 on his left side with a split fifth. And after scoring this bull, he's probably going to be 350, 370. Wow. He's a stud.
What does that translate to for a whitetail?
200.
Oh, so he's a behemoth.
Pope and Young elk is 260.
Okay.
Pope and Young whitetail is 125.
Right.
I think Boone and Crockett elk is 320, 330. Jeez. This is a bull that will net 100% net Boone and Crockett.
Jeez.
And so you're 100% talking a 180 to 200 deer equivalent, right? And I'm able to, got a battery warning, but we're still good. So I'm able to get in and get eyes on this bull, and I'm thinking, man, he's going over the back of the mountain. And I'm thinking, that's a good sign. If that was him that bugled, I'm in the game this weekend. I'm in a good position this weekend. But I'm just going to hang out and get my stuff together and do what I told my buddy I was going to do. I'm just going to get eyes on bulls. Neither of these bulls are really killable. So I sat down. I haven't eaten anything since I started my hike in. I break out some dried apricots and some dried mango, and I'm snacking on that, drinking a little bit of water. And I hear a better bugle, a clearer bugle. I'm like, well, that's not Sevens. Sevens is over the mountain. That's a different bull coming out of herd bull timber. I said, okay, I need to eat this real quick. I need to get my stuff set up. So I throw a few cow calls out, no response. I just want to paint the picture. Hey, there's still elk down here. If you're lonely, buddy, come visit. So I get my stuff together. I got my bow. I go ahead and have an arrow out because stuff just happens fast in the elk mountains. And 5 minutes goes by, 3 minutes goes by. I've got everything sorted. So I've got my optics. These are going to go with me. I got my bow. That's going to go with me. I got dinner. It's going to go with me. Everything else is going to stay here. I'm about to throw in the tent. And I hear just the clearest, just, and I look up and I see movement and I throw the binos up, and 400 yards away across the mountain is just a big tan, piss brown body. And I think, oh man, that's a good bull. And I get the binos on him again and I go, oh my God, that's a giant. And I throw the binos down and I'm scrambling for the spotter, throw the tripod up, get the spotter up, throw the phone scope on, get the footage started. And I'm thinking, that's a 330, 340. Like, that's a giant. And he's 450 yards away, and he's right where I know how to kill a bull elk. He's just right above this alder brook that runs down into this nasty cut, and it's going to give me this great avenue to sneak up underneath him. And the sun's starting to set, and my thermals are about to fall. And I'm thinking, he's going to get water either in those alders, and if he goes to one side of those alders or the other at the top, I'll come up the other side. Or he's going to drop down that alder creek, and he's going to hit this creek, and he's going to get water there. And if he does that, he's dead. Or he's going to go to the back of this alder creek at the very top of the mountain, and if he does that, he's dead. So I've got one tough way to kill him, and I've got two that are almost guarantees. So let's just wait it out. Let's just find out what happens. So I'm glassing him, and this is where the story kind of gets crazy because I'm somewhere that other people aren't supposed to be. And I throw a bugle out at this bull, and I get a response, and I chuckle at him, and I get a response, and I hear somebody behind me say, "Hey." And I turn and look, and there is a fellow wearing a long sleeve white PFG fishing shirt is what it looks like, walking down the side hill straight towards me with this gigantic bull bugling on the other side of this ridge. And I lose it. I'm like, get down, shut up, stop moving, whoever you are. So I slip over to him, and I'm like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, hey, my camp's over there. And I was like, I'm about to go kill this bull. So how did you get back? What are you doing? I was like, did you hike in behind me? What's going on? And he's like, no, man, I actually hiked in here last night. My camp's over there. I was like, oh, we need to run through this real quick because I need to understand the public land etiquette here. Are you saying you have camping gear over there, or are you saying you would like to go camp over there? Because there's a giant bull over there, and if I had the option here, I would like to go camp over there as well. And he's like, no. I have a tent on top of that mountain. Well, now I'm thinking, that is a terrible place to put a tent. Okay, why did you go camp in the middle of where the bull elk are bugling? I said, man, look, this is public land. I'm trying to be respectful here. But I've been watching this bull for about 10, 15 minutes, and I'd like to go make a play on killing this bull. And he's like, hey, I messed up a chance on a bull this morning. I blew it wide open. You are actively working this bull. Good luck. Go kill the bull. And I was like, all right, cool. Thank you. Very polite of you. Handshake. What are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to follow you. And I was like, well, let's do it. You could just stay here, right? With your white t-shirt and your blue polarized sunglasses. You could just stay. And then I'm thinking, no, please don't stay right here. I have $3,000 worth of camping gear here, and I don't know you. I don't know what you need to do. You need to turn around and just go back where you came from. But if you did come from over there, don't go back over there. So we talked for a couple more minutes, and you're still trying to fill out. This is a total stranger. I do not know this guy's name. I have not even introduced myself. And he's like, well, man, are you going to go after the bull, or like, what are you going to, And I was like, look, give me 7 seconds to grab my stuff as fast as I can, and then I'm going to go kill this bull. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to hike about 10 yards behind you. I'm wearing bottomland because bottomland hides you in the woods anywhere you live. I don't care what anybody says. It's the best camo in the world, period. He is wearing a white T-shirt and like green-blue pants. That also just paints the perspective of how different this animal is than a turkey. So we sure enough just hike down. I bugle a few times, and I'm trying to pray to the Lord that this is not somebody who is either A, about to shoot me or shoot past me or blow this bull out just to make sure I don't kill him, because you just don't know. Mm-hmm. We get down to the drainage down in the bottom, and I throw a cow party. I start doing some cow calling. I start doing some bugling, nothing aggressive, and the bull's silent. He is hushed. And I'm thinking, man, maybe he saw this guy's big white T-shirt walking over here, and we're just in trouble. And I figure, you know what? I'm not going to make the mistakes I've made in the past. I'm not going to sit on the sidelines. We're just going to go over here and get in the bubble with this bull. And when I say we, I mean me and then someone behind me. So at 0 times in any of this have we communicated. It has truly just been, I have a white long sleeve T-shirt shadow approximately 15 yards behind me.
Still don't even know his name.
I have no idea at this point. We have done 0 introductions. When I tell you that our intro conversation was 25 seconds of, hold on, your camp is over there, actual, or you would like to camp over there. Hold on, you hiked in behind me or you didn't. How did you get back here? What is your prerogative with this situation? Fine, I have to go kill this bull elk. Stay here, come with me, I don't care. Side note, thank you for being a good sportsman and letting me pursue the animal that I am actively filming and calling to.
I hope he hears this.
I've got his number. We'll get there. So I move down into this drainage, and I make my mind up. I'm not going to wait. We're going to go. And we start moving up on this bull, and we're climbing up this, again, just vertical. It's vertical. And I don't have trekking poles at this point because I'm knocked. I'm ready. Bull elk, arrows on, safety in mind. Keep the arrow down. Move slowly through the mountains. Keep your eyes up. And we get about 25 or 30 yards up out of this drainage. We're going up the side hill of this mountain. And he bugles, and he's close. He's ruffling the bottom of your chip bag in your lunchbox close, right? I mean, he's in your lap. And I realized just from knowing the area and my experience in that area that this drainage comes out of the main drainage and it goes to your left, and then it straightens up the mountain, and then it bends hard, and then 45s around this giant boulder outcrop. And the bugle sounded slightly to the right. And I had to stop, and I thought about it, and I said, that's bouncing off these rocks. He's on the other side of that big rock outcrop. That's the last place we saw him. He was working down and left. He heard the cow party. He's going to grab the trail, and he's going to hike the trail down, or he's going to continue his way to the back, and he'll advertise from back there. But those are the 2 options. That's knowing elk behavior. He's either going to want to use his nose, or he's going to want to take a dominant position and come straight downhill on whatever else is down there. So I turned to Connor, is the gentleman's name, and I said, Connor, we're getting off the trail. We're going to go through these rock outcrops. I want to pop up on top of these rocks. I'll either have a shot on him, or we'll watch him walk to the back. We'll drop back down and cut him off. And the guy's probably 12 yards behind me, and I just get a good thumbs up. I was like, all right. I take about 4 more steps, and another tip I learned from Dan Staton is to breathe through your nose, because elk stink. They smell terrible. And I'm breathing through my nose, and it just punches me. Just tarsal gland, whitetail, that smell, mix it with pigs rolling in just muck. And it hits me just pungent, strong. It's almost like a horse stable meets ruddy buck. Tarsal gland, urine, stink. And I get that in my nose, and I think, I've smelled it a few times hunting, and it's always been the whole time you're hunting elk, you're just puffing a wind puffer, right? You're just throwing out wind puffer. And I had just checked, and it's straight down this drainage, and I'm thinking, he's coming into the funnel. He's coming into the drainage. His scent is now pulling down into here. And I look up just in time to see his antlers coming over a log. And he's side hilling around to hit the trail. And I stop, and I turn and look, and Connor, the guy behind me, is looking at me, and I just gently, hand down, come back up, clip my release, and look up. And he is 100% exposed around that log coming into the timber. Thank the Lord there is a 200-year-old pine tree, just an absolute behemoth of a ponderosa pine, and his head goes behind it. Bow comes to full draw. I have no idea how far he is. I know he's about to be in our lap. I'm about 7 yards off the trail. Connor is probably 2 yards off the trail. If this bull continues down this trail, it will 100% bump Connor. That's how close this encounter is about to be. So I know that. I don't spin my sight. I don't take the time to range. I just have to tell myself, whatever happens, whatever shot opportunity you get, it needs to be top pin. Just let him come until he feels your peep sight. So I come to full draw, and I can't see the bull at all. And I get this information later from Connor, but I hear limbs just breaking, and my immediate reaction is Connor moved. He saw Connor. Connor's in the trail. The bull's running. So I go to ease out, and it continues for too long. I'm like, oh, he's raking. He's breaking limbs. I ended up finding out he's so wide, his antlers got hung up in the limbs, and he just thrashed his head to break the limbs out of the way.
Jeez.
About 2 seconds later, he steps around the tree that I'm behind, loosely behind. We are very much in the wide open. And imagine if you've ever hunted the Mississippi Delta, you've been to a place like Delta National or any of those, and you get into those big hardwood openings where there's trees, but they're 10 yards, 15 yards apart. That's the equivalent of what we're hiking through, but it's ponderosas, and it's on a 40-degree mountainside. So we're nowhere near a tree, but we're standing in the wide open, and I'm just still. We're just frozen. And I already had my spot picked at full draw. I knew where the trail was. I just need him to get into it. The one blessing here is that when he first came around the tree, there were some limbs blocking his vitals. So I was able to get on him. I was able to bury that pin, but I could not shoot yet. And I knew that. My brain knew that stuff was in the way. So I just held and I held and I held, and I'm on him now. I'm good. I'm calm. My pin's in his chest. I just need him to clear those limbs. And he took 2 more steps, and when his left leg came around and he's walking towards me the way I'm facing y'all, he finally cleared that tree and he saw us or saw Connor, and he just stopped. And he was a half step too late. It exposed that whole front shoulder. I was able to get in that front crease, and I took a 80% Q2 shot. And I shoot a very heavy arrow. I shoot a day 6 fixed blade broadhead. I draw 82 pounds, and I have a 31-inch draw.
that arrow's moving like 500 feet per second.
It's rocking.
Nothing's going to get in my way.
No.
Right? I know that I shoot a heavy arrow. I shoot a cut-on-contact broadhead. So I get as tight into that shoulder as I can, and I just break it. And I remembered seeing the fletchings. I shoot 4 pink fletchings, and I remember seeing them just disappear. And it sounded like you pulled your fist out of a 1-gallon mayonnaise jar. Just and I watched that arrow disappear directly into that front shoulder meat, and he spun and he ran uphill, and I turned to Connor and I lost it. I just dropped my bow, hands to my head. I just killed my first archery bull. I'm fist pumping, and he starts cow calling. And I turn and look. I reach down and grab my bow again. I grab my other arrow, and I'm like, did I hit him good? I hit him in the shoulder. I smoked him, right? And he's like, yeah, I think you got him. He's right. He's right there. He's right there. We're talking 30 yards, but he's vertical now. So he's in the tree limbs. You can't see him. You can see movement. And I turned to Connor again, and I'm like, did I hit him good? That arrow disappeared. And he said, yeah, you smoked him. And he said, oh, look. And I looked back up, and the bull is facing away from us, and he's side hill stumbling. He 180s his front legs around, falls head first, slides 3 feet, and he's at 35 yards facing us dead.
Man,
oh, my gosh.
Awesome.
I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat listening to this. This is so cool.
He probably was on his feet for 8 to 10 seconds after the shot.
Jeez.
And he never covered more than 35 yards total.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And, man, I've probably never fallen apart the way I did. Mm-hmm. I mean, just hands and knees, got up, high-fived. Hey, what is your name, man? Oh, I'm Connor. Man, I'm Blake. Hey, buddy, you don't have a choice. We're lifelong friends now.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I've never seen somebody else kill a bull elk. He's like, that was incredible to watch. So we got 10 yards closer to the bull. I fell down again, hands on the ground, grabbing the sagebrush, just thanking God. I probably said, thank you, God, thank you, Lord, 20 times. And
wow.
the reality started to set in that I'd killed a good bull, and guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pause right there because I want to plug this in just so we don't drop off.
You're good, man. That's
what a
that's
freaking
an incredible story. I mean,
I'm going to change our angle just a little bit.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, it's so hard. Like for guys that have never been in the back country, that have never
that's me, dude. I'm trying to picture this.
Dude, walking through that big timber is just like, I mean, you can get on these trails where you can see. I mean, like it's a game trail. You can see where the elk have been traversing back and forth, and man, you can see like giant rubs on trees and stuff. I mean, it's a magical place. So to be able to be in that position where you're finally closing the deal after working,
and it was different.
5 years of failing and training and picking yourself back up again and working harder the next year and getting out there and then failing again and learning more and picking yourself back up again and training harder and I mean, it's. I tell you what, I say it all the time. Like I love waterfowl. Like that's my thing. Like waterfowl is my passion. But if elk hunting was more easily accessible from Mississippi, I think I think it would be no contest. It's not like anything else.
I can tell you, it takes the best part of many other forms of hunting and it puts them together. Right. Yep. Most waterfowl guys will tell you they love waterfowl for one of two reasons: the camaraderie, right? The group, the blind, the breakfast, the friendship, or the calling. Watching an animal be able to be audibly manipulated to steal, a Primo's slogan, to learn to speak that language, right? Because the difference between a good elk caller and an elk caller, a good duck caller and a duck caller, a good turkey caller and a turkey caller. You can go win NWTF Grand National Champion as a yelper. But if you don't know turkey's language, because they have a language, you may not kill that many birds. You may be able to throw out one nasty hail call. But if you can't learn to read that bird and go, you know what? That's not what they want today. Yeah. Right? That's overdoing it. I need to bring it down. So I didn't know when I walked up on that bull what I was walking up on. And I think a lot of that was because, man, antler size matters. It's cool. We're all men, right? Size matters. I don't care what anybody tells y'all. But the reality.
You can't say that on the podcast.
This is
antler size.
This is an elk podcast.
Antler size, fellas. What are y'all talking about? So, it wasn't about that in that moment. Yeah. I would have been in that moment just as happy with a 400-pound 4x4 5-year-old bull, because what I had never accomplished was punching an archery elk tag.
Yeah, it was like a culmination of years worth of work that had come. It had all come to fruition in this one moment.
It was the validation of who I say I am.
Yeah. Dude, that's
it.
That
all the
statement,
time, effort.
That's a powerful thing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. 5 years prior, and you set out to say, hey, if I'm going to be about it, I'm fixing to be about it.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, you got the validation that, hey, I am who I say I am. That's strong.
And what's crazy about that is, how many people would go out year one and find out this is hard and this isn't for me, and then never come back.
A lot. I'm sure a ton.
Quite a few of my friends.
People
Yeah.
We've talked about that with the camera business before. Yeah. Everybody wants to buy a camera and get a ton of followers on social media and be a celebrity, but it just don't work like that.
That's the reality. The reality is most people that want to kill a big elk, most people that want to kill the turkey, there's a reason so many of these guys get in trouble. There's a reason so many of these social media guys, and the guys, I have no problem against social media guys. Some of those guys are my good buddies. My running coach is a huge influencer. Dan Staten is someone I look up to massively, huge influencer. Cam Haynes, huge influencer. Some of these guys use these platforms to change people's lives. Then some of them will break every law in the book and do everything they can because they want to just be. The difference between really wanting something and wanting to be able to post it on Instagram is two very different things.
100%.
And what the 5 years proved to me was that I wanted that moment on my hands and knees in front of that bull, thanking God for getting me there, for making it real. And if I tell you what, I love posting it. I love talking about it. I'm glad we get to talk about
100%.
it. I love being able to share that accomplishment with my friends and family on socials and have buddies call and reach out and say, man, congratulations. You worked hard for that. But if that stuff didn't exist and it was just me and God on that mountain with that bull
and Connor,
I promise you, and Connor, I'll tell you what, he stayed behind after I killed that bull and helped me hold the legs up and helped me pull fur back and help me break that animal down.
We'll get Connor on next episode.
Yeah, can we get Connor on the next episode?
Shout out to Connor for that. Otherwise, I would have preferred Connor not be there. But the reality of it is, I would do it again next year if you told me it was going to be harder to get there, if you told me there were going to be less elk, and if you told me I couldn't post about it.
Yeah.
Because that 10 minutes, 15 minutes where I just sat next to that bull and Connor was respectful and he sat down and he didn't say a word and he just let me be in those mountains with the sun starting to throw shadows with that bull. And I've heard Dave Owens say this a bunch about turkeys, and I promise you it's real for me. Killing stuff is part of hunting.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And it's an ugly part at times. Sometimes it's a beautiful part. This bull, it was beautiful. Watching that go down that quick and knowing that there is no faster, cleaner finish to his life than there could have been is gorgeous. But if I could have breathed life into him and tried it again the next day and gone home with 280 pounds of meat, give me those two. But I would have.
Yeah.
Because it's not about taking him off the mountain. I do want to win. I do want to beat that animal. I do want to go out and prove to myself that I am what I say I am. I am not just a hiker. I'm not just an elk caller. I'm an elk hunter. And the back part of that means you have to put that meat in a bag and you have to bring it home and you have to share it with your friends and family. And the greatest thing about the unfortunality of the fact that this bull is no longer on the mountains is that for every day for the rest of my life that I'm ever alive, this bull is still going to be alive.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be able to tell people his story. I'm going to be able to tell people my story with him. And if I live to be 80 years old, I'm still going to be telling people about my first archery bull elk and how it went down. And to me, that's the beauty of hunting, the conservation of hunting, the caring about these animals. But man, I remember sitting there and watching that orange start to fall on the side of those mountains and thinking, there's nothing like this. And I had no idea that I had killed an 800 to 850 pound bull elk.
Yeah.
I had no idea that I had killed my first Pope and young animal, period, much less bull elk. I had no idea that he was going to gross 312 inches. And I did not care at all in that moment.
Yeah.
Now, since then, all of that stuff is really cool. But all I wanted was to be able to go home to my wife in September. Technically, it was still August. and for once, be able to say, hey, babe, I didn't mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
This time I got it done. And that imposter syndrome went away.
Yeah.
And that who are you really became, at least for right now, at least for that day, validated.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go back in 2 weeks and I'm going to try to call in a bull for a really good buddy. And I'm going to go back in 4 weeks and I'm going to try to kill a bigger bull with a rifle. And Lord willing, I'm going to go back next year and I'm going to try to do it again with a bow. And I won't be putting this year's success into next year. My goal is that when the last day of elk season for me this year, whatever tag that is, comes across the calendar, I'll be immediately looking towards next year. And how do I become undeniable? How do I prove to myself? And I care what other people think, but only if it is a reflection of how I feel as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Only if it is, hey, you know what? If I'm going to say that this is who I am, other people should, at least some, agree with it. And that's my goal, man, is to take this success and build on it.
Yep.
And hopefully inspire some people that, man, I failed for 5 dang years, so don't quit. Fall in love with the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it takes. I can tell you, like, probably the first 4 to 5 years of my waterfowl hunting career,
a lot of bumps and bruises
on public land.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if
a lot of goose eggs.
If we killed a limit of mallards one time in a season,
huge.
It was a success. Oh, right. It was huge.
Oh, I know.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, one thing that you said, I think that says a lot about you, and especially in comparison to some of these influencers. And I'm like you, I got a lot of buddies that are influencers. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Sure.
But there's several too that give the sport a bad name, and I think that there's a huge contrast that you just hit on, and it's people like you who are the real deal. You're proven, you've got something to prove to yourself, and you're gonna put in the time and the energy, and you're going to take those bumps and bruises so that you can lay your head down at night knowing I am who I say I am, versus I'm going to take shortcuts and I'm going to cheat and I'm going to do everything so that other people think I am who I want them to think I am. And that's huge, man.
Yep.
I mean, that's a huge testament to your love for the sport, to who you are as a man. I think that, you hit on this at the beginning of the episode, but the trials and tribulations that you deal with on the side of that mountain says a lot about the way that you're going to handle trials and tribulations in life. So hats off to you, dude. What an awesome story.
100%. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit. We're already an hour and a half into this thing. So
I've been on the edge of my seat the whole time, dude.
But I will just make mention, we're going back. You and I are going back into the mountains the end of October for a 10-day hunt. That's going to be absolutely incredible. Like we've already put so much work into that trip. We're filming the whole thing. That's probably all we'll talk about it on the show today.
That's going to be a whole nother episode. We'll have to get you back on.
It's going to be a whole nother episode to cover all that. And two, we're putting out a film. It's going to be a whole production. We're working with a lot of cool people on this thing.
Yeah,
it's going to be
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal and such a good time. And I can't wait to get out and hang out, man. It's been 2 years.
2 years.
So.
2 years.
Man, it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to get in the back country.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But with that,
well, hang on. Before we jump to our show sipper, I've been stockpiling little trivia questions the whole time. I'm about to just speed round you real quick. All right,
shoot me a few.
Number one, are these animals? All right, let me back up a little bit. In the turkey woods, you would think that an eastern turkey is the smartest animal on the planet, when in reality, they're idiots. They're morons.
They're idiots.
So where does an elk fall on that spectrum? Are these intelligent beings, or are they stupid and you just got to learn how to skate around?
The difference between an elk and a turkey is where you fall in the season. If you are early September, late April, or late August, early September, these are very smart animals. These are nose-driven first. You will not beat their nose. They don't ask questions. There's a saying, you can beat their ears twice, their eyes once, but their nose never. Mm-hmm. And I live by that. So early September, late August, pretty smart, old, mature. They have been hunted. They've been called to. They've probably been shot at. September 25th, 30th, take the dumbest buddy give him 4 shots of whiskey, and he hadn't been with a woman in a few weeks.
There you have it.
And drop him off at a bar. Yeah. They turn into that. So,
yeah.
But I love that you said that, man, because a turkey, A turkey is the scaredest animal in the world.
Right.
And that's
that
what
can be
makes them hard to kill.
misconstrued as intelligence. But yeah,
That's it.
a buddy of mine's dad used to say that, you could have a deer patterned down to breakfast, lunch, and dinner where he was going to be, but during the rut, he's liable to be in the drive-thru at McDonald's. I mean, you just have no idea. But that answers that though. Good answer. All right. Second thing is, you made mention earlier of a bull that you referred to as being real young, hanging out with the cows, and you said he was 4 or 5. What's the age of a mature bull?
9, 10.
Okay, so they've got a little bit longer lifespan.
The likelihood is that the bull that I killed was between 8 and 10 years old. And I'll share this just because it's really cool. There is a 95% chance, you can't quite see it, but his G3, that little bitty sticker tine, is tiny. It's 2 inches long. He's 44 inches wide. His left side is stronger than his right side in the tops. Last year on my birthday, I called a bull elk in on camera with a 1-inch G3 that was 40 inches wide, and his left side tops were stronger than his right side tops.
No way.
And it was 800. Chris, I'll send you the video later.
Yeah.
I am 90 to 95% sure that I had this bull at 28 yards last year, no shot.
Wow.
No freaking
That's amazing.
way.
Yeah.
And to make that
pretty cool.
It wasn't your time, man.
How failure can become success.
Oh, wow.
This bull probably grossed 280 last year and probably would have missed Pope and Young by 3 inches.
Golly.
And this year, we're gonna clear Pope and Young by 25 inches.
Yeah, you're blowing past it.
That's awesome.
Last one, and then we'll start talking about this beer, which I really enjoyed, by the way.
Yeah, it was very good.
But how big are these units, and how many people are they throwing into a unit at one time? Like how often do you run into somebody like you ran into Connor?
I see a hunter every year.
Okay.
I have never seen another hunter in the back. But every year we see a couple of guys either with optics or at the road going in or out. This is a general elk unit. And when you're talking about general elk units, you really don't always know what the pressure is going to be because the residents of the state can come in or out as much as they would like because they get a majority of the state as general elk units. This unit they give, I'm not going to say the number. I will say it's between 120 and 250 non-resident tags for archery. So when you're talking archery, there is a significant amount of pressure. Now, it is not Arkansas, Mississippi public land turkey hunting pressure or duck hunting pressure, but you're going to have a guy every 600 to 800 acres is kind of the math that it ends up breaking out to. Sounds like a lot of land, but these are animals that live on 20,000, 30,000 acres. These are animals that move 5-6 miles a day every single day. So there's real pressure. The reason I'm so successful at finding elk is because I look for the steepest, deepest, nastiest, trashiest stuff I can find, and nobody else wants to go there, and the elk know that, and that's where they go.
And this is the guy that I want. This is the guy that I want to film with.
Yeah, have fun.
I will tease this while the question's been asked. The rifle hunt that I have, you have less than a 5% chance of ever drawing in your life.
Yeah.
And there are very, very few people hunting that tag.
And that was the primary reason that we decided to put this film together is because
that's the one y'all are filming.
Yeah. It's because it is. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a once in a lifetime tag.
Yep.
And
how far are you trying to take a elk with a rifle?
I own a Browning X-Bolt 28 Nosler. My good buddy Johnny Lynn custom hand loads Berger Barnes 195 EOLs for me. I shoot a 32 power optic, and I have a cattle property east of here that I go shoot at. I can ring 8-inch steel over and over and over and over again at 950 yards.
Are you comfortable taking a bull from that far?
If we check the wind and it's sub 5 miles per hour, I'd shoot a bull at 1,000 yards.
Hope you got a big camera lens.
Hey, we'll do the best we can do.
I killed a mule deer jogging last year at 360 yards.
Yeah, that's stout. That's awesome.
So
I'd like to get him a little bit closer than that.
Our goal will be that I do not adjust my optic. Yeah. Our goal will be that I get on the gun and I put the crosshairs on him and I pull the trigger.
I think our sponsors want us to get it closer than 1,000.
Yeah, that's
I think our sponsors want to see us carry a bull off the mountain.
They do. Yeah, they do.
I guarantee that they're not going to ask about the distance as long as you're packing one out. That's awesome, dude.
That's it.
Well, tell me a little bit about what you thought of this beer. I mean, is this something that's like readily available locally?
Yeah,
it is.
I got it in Oxford at the
Have you looked
store.
for it around here at all?
I think they sell it at Walmart. You can look it up. Like you can go to outlawbeer.com or whatever it is.
It's stout, dude. It's good.
You can find where it's in stores, and it's only 100 calories. It's 105
Yeah, it's just
calories,
like any other light beer. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Very good beer.
It's again, man. It's brewed out here in La Junta, Colorado. It's southeast Colorado, out in the plains. In my opinion, this is the best Colorado beer. It tastes nothing like that, Cal P Coors Light stuff that everybody's so hype on around here. And man, they've got a cool, who they are, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a proud to be made in Colorado beer. They're affiliated with Hardy. Hardy does a lot of stuff with them. So
how did he get hooked up with them?
I have no idea, man. I'd love to find out, but
we need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah. He's a big Mississippi State guy.
He is. So, and he's a big beer drinker, man, and a big hunter. So they put a good buck beer on the front of it.
Hell State.
So, for me, man, I mean, if you're going light beer, if you're going to rate a light beer, for me, a couple things have to be there. Number one, I don't want the water taste. Right. I want to taste some beer, and it has a good beer taste, but it's not heavy. Right. Yeah. It's something you can enjoy. You get it nice and cold. It's really solid, man. For me,
what do you give it? What do you give it on a one? Our scale is 1 to 5.
Can I break it? Can I say 4.7?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you say 4.7,
I'll say this. That's a really strong score.
That is a very strong score.
For me, there's only one light beer that I prefer over this, and that's the Shiner Light.
Oh
no. Shiner Bock makes a light blonde.
Oh, okay.
And Shiner,
I bet that's
Shiner Light Blonde. When I'm trying to establish my rankings, the best beer I've ever had for light beer is Shiner Light Blonde. That's my 5.
Yeah. So that's a 5. You're saying Shiner.
For me, that is the best light beer I've ever put to my lips.
Have you ever tried light beer by Miller? White can.
Miller Lite is
here. We go.
Miller Lite.
We can't talk about Miller Lite on every episode.
Miller Lite for me is the number one choice of the domestic national beers.
Right. Well, that's a great compliment.
That's a 4.2. That's a 4.2 for me.
No, that 4.2 strong, man. We're talking.
That's real strong.
It's a little too strong.
Oh, you're saying that's too strong. I thought you were saying he undercut it. I was like, man, I'm happy with that.
He probably drinks Coors Light.
Bush.
Yeah.
All right, so what are you gonna say? 1 to 5. We got a 4.7, which is that may be the highest score we've ever had on the show.
Probably so. Man, when you take into consideration, this is a very easy drinking light beer. And when you take into consideration the connection between Mississippi and Colorado, given the circumstances of the show.
That's it.
I mean, dude, that's pretty cool. I'm going to go 4.5.
Yeah.
It's a good, I'm going to look for it next time I'm in the store. I promise you that.
I think they sell it at our Walmart here.
Okay.
I bought it in Oxford, but I was looking to see if they had it locally just in case I needed to grab some. I think they do sell it at Walmart.
I'm more than happy with it.
So I thought it was outstanding.
Good.
For a light beer, I agree with you, Blake. It's got a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
It almost drinks like a lager.
It's a beery
beer. Almost like a light brown lager. Because it has that good solid beer flavor, but it's only 105 calories, which is going to be in that light beer range. Man, I thought it was really good. I'd probably go for 4.
Right on the money.
Yeah. I think
right
it's
there.
going to be right in there.
Well,
It's,
I know where your head's at now. What are you pairing it with if you're working on a couple of them?
If I'm going food, one other thing before that, I'm also a huge fan of like the small breweries, like that. That for me is like a huge plus. I like the micro breweries. I like the.
We've got 2 of them locally right here.
I know, and I've never been to what's the one that's down there in Jackson.
Golly, if you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you.
But I like the culture that goes with the small micro breweries. It's usually like really cool dudes,
right?
And we all think the same way,
right?
But yeah, I thought it was awesome. As far as a food pairing goes, man, it's football season.
I know where this is headed.
And I gotta go wings. Like I'm
solid.
going.
Okay,
that's super solid.
I'm going wings on the smoker.
Do you smoke your wings then fry them?
No. So what I do is I smoke them at like say 225 for like an hour.
Okay.
You get that good smoke, then you bump the smoker up to like 425.
Get a little sear
and you
on
sear
them up.
Yeah, you sear them when you take them off when they're black. When that meat starts to pull away, they're ready.
Dude, what's the best thing to eat in Colorado?
Elk.
Whatever I cook.
Yeah. Whatever's coming out of my kitchen, off my grill.
But yeah, I would go I would go wings. I like dry with like salt, pepper, garlic.
Yeah.
Just crispy salt, pepper, garlic.
Yeah.
Outlaw light beer. Football game.
Tough to beat.
Saturday.
That's tough to beat.
Man, it is
75. It's gonna be perfect.
It's a good football beer. I'll be doing pulled pork nachos this weekend with what's left in the fridge.
Now that's solid.
No, that's strong.
Pulled pork nachos.
That's
right.
I'm gonna bounce.
I can get down with that.
I'm gonna bounce right off of that. I'm gonna enjoy one of these Outlaw Lights with a brisket.
All right,
coming right off.
Let's go.
Solid.
I'm gonna have a nice fatty brisket.
Sweet. All right, man. Blake, look. We got to wrap this thing up. This is taking the place of our longest show.
If you ask me, it's felt like the shortest one. I've been just sitting here in awe this whole time. I mean, for only 5 years of doing this, man, you've got some awesome stories to tell.
Yeah. Well,
failure's fun to tell, man. It is.
Yeah, not everybody's willing to.
If you want to fall in love with something, you better fall in love with failing at it too.
Well, and I'll say this too, for everybody listening, just for a little bit of motivation. You hit on the fact that this is like a 8 to 10% success rate. Well, if you look at it statistically, that means that I have to fail 9 times before I get that win. Mm-hmm. And this is with anything in life. I look at a lot of things like this. If I know what the success rate is, every failure becomes a success because it puts me one closer to where I need to be. Mm-hmm. So, man, that's what I heard you say earlier, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. And man, I'm glad you stuck it out and had some stories to share with us this evening. Thank you for your time, man. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to join us and share your passion with us. And man, obviously, I can't wait to get out there.
I can't wait to hear about it.
About a month, and
yes, sir.
We still have a lot of work to do and planning.
We're
gonna
have all kinds of fun stories because around the same time y'all are going out there, we're going to Canada.
Oh, really?
Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yes, sir.
Come on. Have you ever been?
No, sir.
Me either.
That's
a bucket list.
I've never even hunted dry fields. That's all we're doing.
I got invited to Canada this year, but you know when it is? They were leaving.
No way.
They were leaving. Yeah, I was like, "Nah, I'm already booked up." So I'm not missing anything.
I'll tell you what.
It's not like that.
Here's how we'll wrap the year up, guys. We'll go buy about 2 cases of this right here, okay? And I'll get you fellas to meet me in January, and I will show you boys how to kill some greenhead.
Oh, God. Okay? Here we go. Here we go. I need a good lesson on how to shoot some ducks.
Like I told you, I told you before we started recording, I've never been. So if you're willing to take me, I'd love to go. I would love to go. Well, Blake, thank you again, man. Thank you again to our new sponsors, Lost Hat Co. We're really appreciative for y'all's partnership. This has been a really fun one.
Blake, we'll get you back on. We'll do it again. If not before our film hunt, then we'll do it after.
Right after.
We can talk about that more.
Awesome. Well, Chris, take us out of here.
Take it easy.